I'm wondering, when is there going to be an urgent response to male violence and women's safety? When is it that we're actually going to see a change? Because there's so much lip service paid to it, and all these words and talking about tweaking guidance, and that doesn't work. We need wholesale change. And right now I'm thinking about Michaela Hall, who was terrorised by Lee Kendall, who Devon and Cornwall Police had 38 pieces of intelligence about his history of abuse and violence to Michaela Hall, and almost 50 convictions and 100 offences. And yet his history is not joined up by police, prison and probation. He should have been arrested, all of that put before the court, not these lenient, pithy sentences. It's outrageous. We want to see robust sentencing for coercive control and for stalking and strangulation. He had strangled Michaela before, so that increases the risk sevenfold. And yet probation assess him as medium risk and release him, and then he kills Michaela. And police don't go through the door when a friend calls Crime Stoppers to say, I've spoken to Michaela, she was being attacked by him. They pass that on to Devon and Cornwall Police. It takes them 20 minutes to attend. That is not an urgent response. And then they don't go through the door. They knock on the front door, they knock on the back door. That's not a significant or effective welfare check when you've got that context, you've got that history. And I'm so fed up with the apologies. Oh, whoops, we're sorry. Women's lives are at risk, and why isn't there an urgent response to that? And yet, if it were men, we know it would be different. And it's this double standard constantly, and it's police, prison and probation services choosing not to do this. It's also government choosing not to prioritise women's safety. Just think about that and read the petition. It's been going for a very long time now to ensure that there is automatic duty to join up the history of the perpetrator, and for police, prison and probation to work together and to offender risk manage via MAPPA. There's a statutory forum there. We want that to be used for these dangerous serial domestic abusers and stalkers. It's really not that hard, but it does take resources. It does take priority. You can't just do it, on the back of a fag pack. And watching Sir Mark Rowley, the Commissioner of the Met, saying, it should be treated as the same importance as terrorism. Yeah, it is terrorism. And equally, we've been saying that for decades. And yes, resources are required, because it's not just about risk assessing, it's about offender management. And we know that effective victim advocacy means using the DASH risk model and being trained in that. And effective offender management is what it takes to close down perpetrators. And you have to be proactive. It's not a case where you can just sit back. And I'm just so fed up with this nonchalance and lack of urgency and priority when it comes to women. We've got to change this. So sign the petition. Also write to your MP. It's in the Victims and Prisoners Bill and will be debated again at report stage. We've got to create this change, and it's a cultural change that is needed.